Well, hello everybody and welcome into the basement, the current home of my aquaponic garden experiments. And here we go. I was looking for questions about aquaponic gardening that I can answer for you guys, since it's been a while that I've been doing it now. And the one that came up was, do I still recommend aquaponic or hydroponic gardening? And the answer, you know, the short answer is a most enthusiastic, wholehearted yes. I absolutely do, but with the caveat of there are times and places for each of these things, and you really want to look into what your situation is best suited to before you dive straight into it. As a fish lover, not necessarily eating fish, but watching fish and just kind of hanging out with fish, having fish, I love aquaponic gardening, and it works well for me. If you're not good at keeping things alive and you're looking at, you know, gardening is an opportunity to get better with that, then maybe consider hydroponic gardening, because it's a little more scientific. You can play like chemist and you mix everything up, and you make sure your balance, your pH balance and everything is absolutely perfect, and you can be right on top of it and in control of it. And yeah, it's a good way to go for some people. Not what works for me. I'm more of a chaos theory kind of guy, so I like, well, a little bit of chaos. I like to learn from things. I refer to this as an experimental aquaponic garden, even though it's been 8 years of aquaponic gardening. I haven't consistently stuck to anything because I'm always trying new ideas to see what will work, what will not work. If it doesn't work, why doesn't it work? Can I improve on it? And that's kind of been the basis of this channel off and on. Aquaponic gardening hasn't been as much of a feature in these last few years since we've moved out to Manitoba as it had been in the past, but let's face it, things are a lot different when you're living in a nice desert valley and you can throw a $500 greenhouse out back and it'll survive just about anything. Whereas out here, I need a whole lot more out of a greenhouse, and that video is still coming. I'm not quite finished setting up the den for videos, and it strikes me as a den and blackboard kind of video. But anyway, to the point, aquaponic gardening, absolutely, wholeheartedly recommend it. And you should check out, there's so many great channels here on YouTube. I mean, that's where I got my start, and I picked up from so many people, just so many different little things that they had done, and I finally got to a point where, if you check back in my video history, there is the No Power Aquaponic Garden, which, yes, you can hear a powered aquaponic garden in the background because I am discussing how I started previously with that. But that is how I started. It was just a no power situation. I had a kiddie pool, I had some goldfish in it, I had some Folgers cans and a Tupperware jug, watering it through. It worked, so I invested more time and effort into a better aquaponic garden that obviously is better for the fish because it's a more regulated, filtered, constantly filtered situation, as compared to a no power aquaponic garden is very, very hard on your goldfish, which is why I have goldfish in here. And yet another reason that I don't have like tilapia or something that are a little bit more sensitive. And yeah, they're jumpers, so they would totally escape from this particular garden. But the question of, you know, do I still recommend it, brings on the, well, it's been a long time since I've done a kind of a review video. And yeah, in 2013, I made a video reviewing what I thought of aquaponics after 2 years, and it's been 8 years now, so I dare say another review is long since overdue. And yes, as you can tell from earlier bits of this video, I'm still very much a fan of aquaponic gardening. I don't necessarily feel that it is the only solution, because I made some very bold statements in that 2-year review about, you know, it's the only way to go. I've learned a lot more about soil and how farming could be done a lot better than it is, and I'm looking forward to trying my hand at that in the future. But unfortunately, you know, this is where I've got for experimentation right now. And yeah, this is about the aquaponic review thing anyway. But yeah, since I've learned what I've learned about how farming can be done differently, I no longer feel quite as extremely that aquaponics is an absolute must. That said, I do feel that if aquaponic gardening were taken up quite seriously by the general urban population, the amount of a difference it could make to people's overall health and the health of their environment around them would be great. And basically the reduction in stress on industrial farming could give a few timid farmers the opportunity to try something new that might work better, but they're afraid to not necessarily produce enough food to feed the world. I'm watching a lot of videos, and that's the one thing that farmers seem to hear all day, every day, is that we have to produce more to feed the world. But we don't. And, if you get right down to it, aquaponic gardening in urban situations is a way that stress can be reduced off these people who are just trying to keep us all fed, right? So if you've got somewhere where you're in the middle of a concrete jungle and you can't necessarily throw something into soil, or the soil there is, corrupted, it's an old gas station or something, so you can't do anything with it, aquaponic gardening, hydroponic gardening, these are solutions to grow food right there in the middle of the environment where everybody can get fresh produce. And like I say, everybody wins when there's fresh food involved. And I'm sure it's a work opportunity for some young entrepreneur who gets the opportunity. You take a derelict building, you get it converted to an aquaponic situation, and you start small and you grow big. You use your profits, you reinvest it. It's a great opportunity. And with proper aquaponics, and I'm the air quotes on proper aquaponics, because I am not considered to do a proper aquaponics because I have goldfish. And aquaponics is the combination of aquaculture and hydroponics. So in theory, I should be raising edible fish to qualify for the aqua part of my aquaponics. I justify that by you can eat a goldfish, it's just not considered socially acceptable. It's like you can eat a dog, it's just people don't necessarily think that's cool. But it can be done. So anyway, that's the whole little technicality aside. It is what it is. I really think that if people out there are interested in getting started with aquaponic gardening, it's a good opportunity. If you are interested in eating fish and you want to take those extra steps and precautions building your system, you absolutely should, because let's face it, the lakes, the rivers, the oceans, everything out there is getting more and more polluted by poorly managed corporations and frustrated industrial farmers. So basically, if you want clean fish, it's getting to a point in the world where it kind of needs to be raised in an aquaponic situation. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it this way. I mean, ultimately, we're mimicking nature in a situation where nature cannot do this herself. So it's a good way to provide good, healthy, clean food. And it's like I say, there are opportunities there for young entrepreneurs, even folks my age, middle age, or older even, that are looking for a way to make some extra coin. If you're stuck in the city and you're interested in this, explore the idea of aquaponic gardening. You will enjoy it, and you will find that YouTube is a wealth of information. There are so many great people out here that are doing just what I am. They're doing their own experiments and they're sharing it with you guys, and they're answering questions. And some of us have been at it for a really long time. Like, I've been at it for 8 years, and I'm pretty sure Dr. Nate Story was already a PhD by the time I started, so he's been at this for 18 years, give or take, right? Like, Rob Bob's been at this for ages. There are so many just excellent channels out there. It's something you should seriously consider exploring. And if you've watched the video to this point, I can only assume that you are interested in aquaponic gardening, hydroponic gardening, and just kind of doing it differently. So I wish you the best of luck in your adventures, and I wholeheartedly encourage you, if you have any questions, throw them down there. I am one of those YouTubers. I try and get back to as many of the comments as I possibly can, and I'm just here to help. So let me know down below if you got any questions, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. All right, thanks for wasting a little time with me, checking out this 8-year review / do I still recommend aquaponics, hydroponics video. I hope you have a bloody fantastic day from here. All right, take care, everybody.